Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Friday, September the 11th. We got another 2-game slate. We only had one game yesterday, so I didn't post a video yesterday. There was a showdown slate. The Lakers and the Rockets played, but I wasn't planning on playing that slate. I rarely play NBA showdown. So only on the days where we have 2 gamers or when I'm going to post videos. This might be our last 2-game slate. I think it actually is going to be our last 2-game slate, which kind of sucks. We'll have to see what the sites do when the conference finals get here. If they do provide 2-game slates where you just have, 2 separate days. I'm not sure yet. We'll just have to wait and see. But for now, we'll break down these 2 games. We'll talk about, Game 5 between Denver and the Clippers, and then we got, Game 7 between the Raptors and the Celtics. I'm ready for that Game 7, between the Raptors and the Celtics. That should be an awesome game. That is the late night game. Normally that's the first game on the slate, but they're actually moving it back to 9 o'clock. But yeah, we'll break down the slate position by position like we always do. Just before we do get started, guys, as always, would appreciate it if you would hit that like button down below. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new here, I am uploading NBA videos. At least while there's 2-game slates, I'm going to be posting NBA videos every day until the 2-game slates stop. I'm not sure yet, when the finals get here and there's only showdown slates, I'm not sure yet if I'm going to make videos for the finals. I know there's going to be some big tournaments for Game 1. They've already got like a Millionaire Maker tournament posted for Game 1. So I might make showdown videos when the finals get here. But for now, just the 2 gamers. We got 2 games today. We'll have to see, if we get 2-game slates in the future, if they decide to, break it up into 2-day slates. But yeah, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Uploading a ton of NBA content right now. I do have, NFL content going up. My NFL Week 1 video, my full picks video, my full breakdown of the slate. That will be going up Friday morning. So by the time you're watching this, there is a very good chance that that video has already been posted on the channel. Definitely check it out. It's pretty in-depth. I go through each position, really hit on the guys I like for this Week 1 NFL slate. If you're playing NFL, I would appreciate it if you would check that video out. And also, if you want to get more content from me, as always, Patreon is linked down below in the description. I do have a lot of stuff to offer there. I did make a new package that's all sports for one price. I used to have, you could get different sports for different prices, but now I just, I'm putting everything into one. It's the same price as well, so you're getting every sport for really, what the price of one sport used to be. With me just posting so much content on Patreon right now, covering all these sports, covering MLB as well over there, I want everyone to have access to the content. So, if you want to get all the content from me on Patreon, it's available right now. It's at a pretty cheap price tag, just $20 a month. Gets you access to everything, all my NFL stuff, all my NBA stuff, all my MLB stuff that I post over there every single day. So check out the Patreon link down below. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And let's break down this 2-game slate. We'll start off at point guard. Kyle Lowry, our most expensive option here. He is $8,600 on Draftkings. Still, not the most expensive point guard on Yahoo. Over on Yahoo, he's only coming in at $33. So I like Lowry once again. He's my favorite, probably pay-up guard, I guess you could say. $8,600 on DK, $33 on Yahoo. It's hard not to like Lowry here. This is a Game 7. He played 53 minutes in their last game in that double overtime game. I said it, last video, I thought there was a good chance that Lowry would have played the whole game. He still only played, at the end of regulation, he still only played like 43 or 44 minutes. But there's a legit shot that you see Lowry not, he doesn't step off the floor for this entire game. There's a good chance he plays 48 minutes with it being a Game 7, win or go home. I really like Lowry. I know his price went up to $8,600, but I think maybe, we'll have to see, but maybe with his price coming up $400, people might shy away from him. I still think he's an incredibly good play at this price. Lowry has shown massive upside. He's getting insane minutes. He's going to play over 40 minutes unless just things go swirly. If there's a blowout or he gets hurt or foul trouble, if none of that happens, which, obviously you don't think an injury is going to happen, you wouldn't expect Lowry to get in foul trouble. Hopefully this game stays close. We should get, I think, 44 to 45 minutes from Lowry, maybe even, 48, like I said, just plays the whole game. So he's my favorite guy to pay up for today. I definitely, like a lot of plays in this game. I think you're just going to get insane minutes from all the starters. Like Fred VanVleet, there's a legit possibility that he plays the whole game as well. He's also, not as expensive as Lowry, $7,900. He did see his price come up, but VanVleet finally had a good game last game. I know it was in double overtime, but still 51 DraftKings points. VanVleet has big-time upside. He's going to play insane minutes. I do like him a ton as well. I think Lowry just been playing better recently, so I think I do prefer Lowry for a bit more. but VanVleet is a very strong option as well. Kemba is someone that I do like today. I know he's been really disappointing lately, and he has burned me really bad. Like, I've been on Kemba. I've been pretty heavy on him every slate so far, especially the last 3 slates, and it hasn't gone well. He played 52 minutes in that double overtime game and had by far the worst game he's ever had in a while with only 19 DraftKings points in 52 minutes. I mean, Kemba's just not going to be this bad. Unless he's like hurt or something, he should not be playing as bad as he's been. He only shot 18% from the field last game, 16% from 3. He's not going to continue to shoot this poorly from the field. Eventually Kemba's going to have a game, probably this game, where he, knocks down 50, 60% of his shots. He has massive upside. He's another guy that I expect just plays massive minutes. Over 40 minutes seems very likely for Kemba today. I like him a lot at 7,700. I like that the price tag came down $400 on DraftKings. He's also, really cheap on Yahoo. The price came down to $27 over there. I definitely like Kemba at his Yahoo price. I really don't want to pay $35 for Jamal Murray today. I think Kyle Lowry at $33 looks really good. Lou Will, I haven't really been playing at $19. Like, he just really hasn't been getting the job done. And none of these $10 guys are viable. Maybe Patrick Beverley you could play, but I feel like a lot of my point guard exposure on Yahoo is going to go to Kemba and to Lowry. I definitely like Kemba at 27. I know he's been bad, like I said, but you can't let recency bias, take you off of guys. I mean, we've seen the massive upside that Kemba has. We know he's going to play huge minutes. It's a Game 7. I like him a lot. I like the price came down, and I'm hoping, with how bad he's been, maybe people will shy away from him. Like Marcus Smart, 6,800, and I know Marcus Smart's coming off a damn triple-double where he dropped 60 DraftKings points, but there's no way in hell that I'm paying $6,800 for Marcus Smart. If he goes out there and drops, 50, 60 again, then I'll just take the L and I'll move on to the next slate, but I barely had any exposure to him on the last slate. I won't be on him again today. I just think he's too expensive. I know he's going to play huge minutes, but Marcus Smart's just not a guy that produces this well. He knocked down 6 of 11 threes. He got 11 rebounds, 10 assists. I mean, he can contribute with peripherals. Like, Smart can give you 6, 7, 8 rebounds, 5, 6 assists, but double-digit rebounds, double-digit assists, that's a little bit of a fluke in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if Marcus Smart's ever triple-doubled before. This might honestly be his first career triple-double. I don't know if they put that in the blurb right here. Smart was, okay, they didn't say like if this first career triple-double. If I had to guess, I would say probably one of his few triple-doubles that he's had. So, 6,800. That's just too expensive of a price tag for me. I'd rather get up to Kemba. I know Kemba's been way worse, but Kemba's a higher usage player. Kemba's a more productive player, long term. Kemba's going to be more productive than Marcus Smart. So I'm not going to be on Smart as it is DraftKings price. Now on Yahoo, I think he's a little bit more reasonable there. They only bumped his price up to $21. I think he was 20 on the last slate or 19 on the last slate. I mean, I still like Marcus Smart on Yahoo. We do have Gary Harris, who I like a lot again as a value. He's only $12. Jaylen Brown's been playing excellent. He's only 29. You still got VanVleet for 33. Paul George, his price came down to 20 or to 31. So, I like Smart on Yahoo. I still don't expect to have a ton of him, but if I was gonna play him, it would be on Yahoo. On DraftKings, honestly, if I was playing like 10 lineups today, which is usually what I play on DraftKings, I probably won't have much Smart at all. Maybe 1 or 2 lineups, but that'll probably be it for me. I'll definitely be underweight on him, especially if people are going to chase that big game. Like, Smart's just not that productive of a player. He will play big minutes, but that's about it. Lou Will, though, I talked about Lou Will. I just haven't been on him recently. I'm probably not going to be on him today. He's going to get about 28 to 30 minutes, but just not being productive. Not getting it done at his price tag. It's not like his price is coming down either. He's still 5,800. If he was like 5,200 today, I think that would be a bit of a different story. Like, with his price not coming down, I'll be off Lou Will. Now, Patrick Beverley, I think, is viable as a cheap option. Did get up to 23 minutes last game. My best guess is he plays around 25 minutes today. 3,800, he's not the worst punt play. If you're going to go cheap at this position, he's really the only cheap option we have. I'm not playing Monte Morris. I'm not playing any of these other guys. So, I definitely like Beverley as a punt option if you do want to go cheap here. But that's probably it for point guard for values. So, moving on to the shooting guard position. You got Paul George here at 8,400, who is coming off an abysmal game last game. He was in foul trouble pretty much all game, only played 27 minutes, just 19 DraftKings points. Now, I still really haven't been playing PG a ton, and I don't think I'm going to be on him today just because I prefer the guards in the guards in the Raptors and Celtics game. Like, I've been playing Lowry, VanVleet, Kemba, Brown. Like, I've been playing all these guys over Paul George, and I think that's going to be the case today because I just expect, massive minutes for these guys. Jaylen Brown at 8K. his price is coming up, but he's been really good lately. Coming off a huge game where he dropped 60 DK points, 41 DK points the game before that, like being way more aggressive as well. Took 30 shots last game, took 18 shots the game before that. I definitely like Jaylen Brown at 8K. I don't think he's too expensive. I think he's for sure viable. I still would prefer Kemba over him, though, because I think Kemba, long term is going to be a more productive player, a higher usage player. He's also probably going to be less owned, if I had to guess, because he's been so bad. So I do have interest in Brown. I just don't think he's going to be like a guy that I just smash into a ton of lineups. Yahoo, that's where I've really been playing him. I keep saying that, but Yahoo's he's just cheaper over there, not as expensive. He's cheaper than Paul George. He's cheaper than Fred VanVleet. I definitely like, Jaylen Brown at $29 on Yahoo. It's close between like VanVleet or Brown on Draftkings. I think I probably would lean. Ooh, that's tough. I think I would probably leave Fred VanVleet, but I guess, it kind of comes down to your lineup. If you have like 2 or 3 Raptors in your lineup, then maybe you play Jaylen Brown. If you have 3 or 4 Celtics or 2 or 3 Celtics already in your lineup, then maybe you play Fred VanVleet. Just, it's really a coin flip. Both guys, I think, are really good plays today. Gary Harris, though, I like him once again as a value. He was on pace to do really well last game, but was dealing, with foul trouble the whole game. Fouled out in 23 minutes, played limited minutes because of the foul trouble. He only had 10 points, but he was able to chip in with 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, 1 steal. Like Gary Harris, on the season, not that productive of a player. Only averages, I believe, about 0.8 fantasy points per minute. But if he's not in foul trouble, and if this game stays close, I expect probably 34 to 36 minutes from Gary Harris. He's a guy that can knock down threes. He can score sometimes. He can give you some rebounds, some assists. He can get those defensive stats. Can just give you a little bit of everything. And at 4,600, we don't have much value. It's hard to find value on these 2-game slates. So I like Gary Harris once again. He kind of burned me last slate, but I'm going to be on him again. I'm not going to let that, foul trouble game get me off, because if he's not in foul trouble, he was on pace to do really well last game. I definitely like him on Yahoo as well. He's only $12 over there. I think he honestly looks like probably one of the better, value plays. Just $12 on Yahoo. And then Norman Powell is another guy that I do like as a cheap option. So his minutes have been way up recently. Played 38 minutes in the double overtime game. Last game, played 31 minutes the game before that. So we've seen the Raptors, in crunch time when the game's on the, when it's the fourth quarter, 3, 4, 5 minutes left. It's not Serge Ibaka out there. They're running Norman Powell out there off the bench. Their closing lineup, when the game's on the line, when there's, like I said, 4 or 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, it's most likely going to be Lowry, VanVleet, Powell, OG, and Siakam. Those are going to be the 5 guys on the floor. They will play Ibaka, good minutes, but Ibaka hasn't really been closing out games. They've been closing out games with Siakam at center. We know they're not going to play Marc Gasol much, only 15 to 20 minutes at most. I think Powell continues to get pretty good run off the bench. I would assume he plays around 30 minutes off the bench today. Playing alongside Lowry, VanVleet, not going to be great for his production, but he will get some time, a few minutes with those guys off the floor if they do take a rest here. Like I said earlier, there's a legit possibility those 2 guys, play the whole game. But I definitely like Powell at 4,400. I think he is a really good value. I don't think this is really chasing either. I know he was not getting minutes much at the beginning of the series, but it seems like they want to give him minutes now. They want to play Siakam at the 5, especially down in crunch time. So I do like Powell as a value play. 4,400 on DK, really pretty cheap at least. On Yahoo he's pretty cheap as well, just $13 over there. Definitely like Norman Powell as a cheap option, shooting guard and small forward eligible on DK. But let's move on to small forward now. So we got Kawhi and Tatum here. Just the last few slates I've been saying pretty much Kawhi over Tatum for me. I think I'm actually going to flip-flop today. Kawhi was excellent last game. He actually, was a big reason why I had a good night on Yahoo the other night. I should have won their baller tournament. I came in second by, 0.3 points. Kawhi was pretty much the main reason I even had a chance to take that tournament down, because he was in my winning lineup, or my second place lineup. He had 71 DK points, just absolutely crushed last game. He had 30 or 35 fantasy points at the end of the first quarter. Finished with nearly a triple-double, 30 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 blocks, 4 steals. Played his normal 39 minutes. I mean, it's hard not to like Kawhi. He's just going to smash as long as he's playing, his normal minutes, which he will if the game's close. You expect about 40 minutes from Kawhi. He's an incredibly productive player. He definitely benefited last game with Paul George getting in foul trouble. George wasn't on the court much, but still, Kawhi's an incredibly good option on a 2-game slate. I don't really need to tell you that. But I definitely like Jayson Tatum today, and I think Tatum, might come in somewhat lower owned. His price did go up a bit on DraftKings, 75 or to 9,500. It did go up $200. He is coming off a huge game last game. Played 51 minutes in double overtime. Finished with 68 DraftKings points, nearly triple-doubled, 29 points, 14 rebounds, and 9 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals. I really like Tatum here. I think, we've talked about how Lowry and VanVleet are going to play possibly 45, 46 minutes, possibly the whole game. I think there's a very good chance you see Jayson Tatum play at least 42, 43 minutes, if not more. We know Tatum is an incredibly high-usage player. He's a very productive player when he gets minutes. This is a guy that can, be the highest scoring player on the slate. He can drop 55, 60 DraftKings points any night. I like Tatum quite a bit, 9,500. I think with this being a Game 7, he's going to be, leaned on even more than he normally is. He's my favorite pay-up option on the slate, which is kind of weird because normally I've been on, Jokic over Tatum, Jokic over Kawhi, Kawhi over Tatum, but I think today Jayson Tatum's going to be my guy. I like him a lot on Yahoo as well. He's $41, kind of expensive, but he's still coming in cheaper than Kawhi and cheaper than Jokic over there. And small forward in general, if you're not paying up for Kawhi or Tatum or going to Norman Powell, you do have Michael Porter Jr., you do have OG you could go to in the mid-range, and MPJ, is a guy that I actually like quite a bit today. We'll talk about him in a second. Really, the position's kind of weak overall. You only have 5 options. None of these $10 guys you're playing, so definitely going to have a good amount of Jayson Tatum, over on Yahoo as well. I do like him a lot at small forward. I like Kawhi as well. Both guys are great plays. I think I do prefer Tatum, though. I just think he plays really well here in a Game 7, plays huge minutes, and we know the kind of upside that Tatum has. So I like him a ton. Michael Porter Jr. is somebody I do want to talk about as well. So his minutes have been increasing. It seems like they don't want to play Paul Millsap right now. Millsap just hasn't been getting a ton of minutes. Millsap was getting somewhat big minutes at the beginning of the series, but those kind of have tailored off, these last few games. Porter got 34 minutes last game off the bench. Just played a ton. Finished with 15 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block in those 34 minutes, 27 DK points. I'm pretty sure he came out and said after this game that, he wanted to get the ball more. He said, Jokic and Jamal were kind of doing everything, pretty much saying they weren't passing him the ball. I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of a narrative here, maybe with him coming out and saying that, maybe they get him the ball a little bit more. This is a guy that can absolutely, score when he's on, can knock down shot after shot, is a really good offensive player, just kind of struggles defensively. I assume Porter continues to get big minutes. He's their one guy that can, come off the bench and just light it up, and that's what they need. They're down 3-1. If they want to have a chance to even come back in this series, they're going to need some scoring off the bench. Porter will give that for him. I think he plays pretty big minutes here. I like him a lot on DraftKings at $5,200, and I think on Yahoo you could definitely play him over there as well at $21. Between him or OG's probably safer just because he's going to play more minutes, but overall I think Porter gives you a little bit more upside just because he's a higher usage player, a more productive player than OG is. But both guys are solid options. And then Jeremy Grant, Marcus Morris, these are 2 guys I've been on recently. They're going to get pretty big minutes. Grant's going to play probably 40 minutes. Marcus Morris is probably going to play 34, 35 minutes. Both guys have been incredibly, bad, though, these last few games. Really, neither one of them has been doing anything. Jeremy Grant finished with a whopping 7 DraftKings points last game in 34 minutes. And then Marcus Morris, not much better, finished with 14 DK points in 30 minutes. I don't expect either guy to be very productive on a point-per-minute basis, but they're going to play big minutes, and they're both under 5K on DraftKings, so I think that's the main reason you consider them today as values. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to power forward. So up top here, Siakam at the top, 7,800 on DraftKings. Look, I've said it every single slate so far. I'm probably not going to play much Siakam on DraftKings. I'd just rather go to the guards, Lowry, VanVleet, Kemba, Jaylen Brown. These are the guys I'd rather play over Siakam. But on Yahoo, there's only 4 playable power forwards. You're either playing Siakam, Marcus Morris, Jeremy Grant, or Paul Millsap. And right now, I don't think I even want to play Millsap with how low his minutes have been. So I think you really only have 3 playable power forwards on Yahoo: Siakam, Morris, or Grant. None of these $10 guys are going to be playing. So Siakam is for sure going to find his way into some of my Yahoo lineups just because the position's so weak. Plus, his price actually did come down on Yahoo, down to $31 after he was, I believe, $33 on the last slate. Look, I know he's been bad, but he's going to play massive minutes. You expect Siakam to play upwards of 44, 45 minutes, if not the whole game. He's a productive player. I know he hasn't been that productive these last few games, but there's still plenty of upside for Siakam if you can pay up for him at power forward on Yahoo, by all means, go ahead. DraftKings, though, probably won't be getting to much of him, especially because you have, Tatum you can play here, Michael Porter Jr. you can play here. We talked about OG, Morris, Grant. Daniel Tice as well, a guy that I have been on. I do like him once again. Played 47 minutes last game, which was pretty good for him. At the end of regulation, he had played 37 minutes, which was huge for Tice. We hadn't seen him get big minutes like that in a while. I don't know how many minutes he plays today, but I think he gets at least 30 to 32, maybe even more. Tice is a productive player when he does get minutes, can give you close to a fantasy point per minute. Price did come up a little bit, but if we're going to continue to get over 30 minutes from Daniel Tice, then he is definitely viable on this 2-game slate. I think I would probably prefer Michael Porter Jr. over him for a bit cheaper, but both guys are for sure in play. But I think that's it for power forward. Let's hit on center real quick. We'll run through this position just before we end the video. So at the top, Jokic 10K on DraftKings. Jokic has been my guy recently, and while I do like him once again, we talked about Jayson Tatum. I'm pretty high on Jayson Tatum today. Plus Jokic, his price is up to 10K now, which is a tough price to pay. Jokic still has the upside to pay off this price. He's been much better the last few games with over 50 DraftKings points in 3 straight, been way more consistent. I just think I'd rather play Tatum for cheaper. I think Tatum, gives us 65 point upside, and he's the cheapest of the 3 studs. Plus, he's going to play monster minutes. Jokic should play about 40 minutes as well, but I just rather go to Tatum. Even Kawhi is closely priced to Jokic. Recently, Jokic has been coming in at a big discount, but now they're kind of closely priced. Plus, I'm going to be spending up for Tatum, so it's going to be hard to pay up at center for Jokic as well. It's going to be hard to get both those guys in your lineup unless you're really, sacrificing and getting off of guys like Lowry and Van Vliet and Kemba and Brown. I really don't want to get off those guys. I want at least probably one of those 2, or one of those 4, if not 2 of those 4 guys in every lineup I make today, because I just think they're all such good plays. But you have Tice you could play here. Ibaka, I'm a bit worried about Ibaka right now. His minutes have been really going to Norman Powell. Norman Powell has been getting big run off the bench, and I think that's going to continue. Ibaka probably plays, anywhere from 22 to 25 minutes off the bench. We know he can be productive on a point per minute basis, but I would just rather get to some other guys. You have Tice you could play. Even Zubac got 30 minutes last game. I don't know if he plays 30 minutes again, but Zubac, a pretty productive player when he does get minutes. Just missed out on a double-double last game, was 1 rebound shy of a double-double. So, yeah, you could definitely go to Zubac at 5K. If you're not going to Tice here, I think Zubac probably looks like the best option over Tice. One of those 2 guys. Millsap, his minutes have just been way down. It's hard to trust him right now. Only 14 last game. It just didn't look like Malone wanted to play Millsap. He would bring Michael Porter Jr. in, and Michael Porter Jr. would just play 15 straight minutes, and Millsap, would never come back into the game. So Millsap's really risky. It seems like he's back in the doghouse now. Tough to trust him. Harrell not getting enough minutes. Marc Gasol not getting enough minutes. So, yeah, that's really it for center for me. I think we kind of covered this position. Not much here. It's either Jokic at the top or Tice or Zubac for me. Really don't see myself getting much Ibaka or Harrell or Millsap or even Gasol. So, yeah, guys, I think we covered center. I think we covered everything for this 2-game slate. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I really do appreciate you watching. If you did enjoy, hit that like button down below before you do get out of here. Hit the subscribe button as well. Click that notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. And if you have not yet, you can check out the Patreon link down below. You can get access to all of my content for every sport on Patreon. It is a pretty cheap price. I'm going to keep it that same price forever. I like the package that I have on Patreon now. It allows you to get access to all of my content. I'm posting a good amount of content over there, so I want to make sure that everyone has access to every sport. That's why I only, have 1 tier available there now, rather than, the 8 or 9 different tiers I had a while ago. I like having just 1 tier. You get everything for this price, and that's the way I really want to, run the Patreon. So you can check that out. Link down below. See all that I have to offer over there. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Be sure to check out my my Week 1 NFL video that will be dropping Friday morning. Really, in-depth breakdown. I spent about 40 to 45 minutes breaking down the Week 1 slate. If you want to check that out, it will be up on the channel Friday morning. But best of luck tonight, guys. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the next video. Peace.